Howdy folks, Adventure Dad Noob here. I'm going to share with you a wisdom that I have thought of, developed, whatever word you want to use, about motorcycles. It may be very simple when you think about it, but I have this one principle about bikes that has grounded me in my philosophy about motorcycling. It's that all bikes are good. I've said this for years, that motorcycles are like dogs. They're all good boys. And I believe that, I really believe that. Some are like pit bulls that, and under certain conditions, they will bite your neck off and kill you. And others, man, they're just like a little chihuahua, down for anything, kind of grumpy, kind of weird, like a TW250 sort of motorcycle, right? All bikes are good. All bikes are fun. And all bikes have certain performance envelopes and design, thought of whenever they were made, right? I started thinking more about this after I rode that Janus, the heinous Janus Halcyon 250. One of the more unique bikes I've ridden in the last few years, for a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into in this video. If you want my full rundown on that bike, go and check out a 28-minute review I did on that thing, top to bottom. I left no stone unturned. But it got me thinking, and not to brag, but I've ridden like over 200 different motorcycles, like 45 or 50 different bikes on track. I have a lot of motorcycling experience. I've ridden in 13 different countries. I've done a lot with bikes, man. And I've just realized that I've had a good time on basically every bike I've ever ridden. And I think what that starts from is just an appreciation of motorcycles. There's such a variety of bikes, man. There is an unbelievable cornucopia of motorcycles that you can choose from. You got dual sports that can kind of bomb around, do whatever. You have fun dad adventure bikes. You got big daddy adventure bikes. You got touring bikes, cruisers, sport bikes, small sport bikes, big fat comfy sport bikes, small tiny little sport bikes. There's so many different bikes. Like, there's nothing quite like it. I see people who are enthusiasts of cars really like grasping at straws at this point to try to have fun with their automobiles. I still sometimes get news and other things about cars that pop up in my feed, and I saw that Honda made a new Prelude. I clicked on it because a buddy of mine had a Prelude in high school, and I was like, oh, what'd they do with the Prelude now? And it's just another kind of bulbous, boring, hybrid, automatic thing, and I'm like, dude, bikes are the best, man. Every bike's manual. They got bikes for all different things you want to do with them. They're relatively cheap. I mean, even this bike that I'm on today, it's like, I think 11.5, 12 grand for this thing. Could do nearly anything with it. I just think motorcycles are amazing and they're incredible. And I genuinely have, it seems to me, an infinite amount of love in my heart for them. I've been doing YouTube full time for 6.5 years. I've been thinking about motorcycles nearly every single day of my life for the last 10 years. And guess what? I'm not bored of it. I love bikes. And maybe that's like my own version of being on the spectrum. I think a certain type of neurodivergent person can certainly enjoy this type of thing. Not to say that I have autism or that I'm on the spectrum or anything like that. I don't think that I am. But there is such a depth with which you can go into motorcycling. And it all starts from that place of like, man, every bike's a good bike, Every bike's a lot of fun, and every bike can do something for you. And that's kind of what I was saying in the Janus video, where I said, yeah, if you use this bike 20, 30 miles an hour, whatever, bombing around town, you can find a way to enjoy yourself with the bike. Now, I found a way to enjoy myself with it by popping wheelies, backing it in the dirt, jumping it, abusing it, and just being ridiculous with it. But if you use it like a normal human being and not like some dingus YouTuber, then I think you can also have fun with it. And that's what I've found really interesting in my last, 4 or 5 years of riding bikes. I obviously have motorcycles that I love. I have certain genres that I'm drawn to. I really like the retro classic space. I've been really enjoying the middleweight adventure space. I, of course, love sport bikes, used on track primarily. But, give me a good hyper naked on the street, and I'm going to have a ton of fun, too. Give me a ZH2 or an Aprilia V4. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that, too, right? But it's been really fun stepping out of my comfort zone and riding bikes that I necessarily wouldn't have enjoyed or wouldn't think to enjoy. And I get on them and I try to have an open mind. I say, how can I have fun with this bike? What's the way I'm going to enjoy this machine? What's it telling me it wants to do? And that's what I was saying in the Janus video, is that every bike gives you some inclination. It starts giving you clues. The moment you click it down into first and you roll away, it starts telling you what it wants, right? Like this bike, for example. It's very interesting because this bike seemingly wants anything. It's up for anything at all. If you hit it at a gravel road, it's like, cool. You do some little jumps with it, it's like, cool. You fling it around on pavement, cool. You take it to a track day, it's like, well, you know what? All right, I'm down for it, you know? This thing is like the golden retriever of motorcycles, and I think that's why it's one of the most popular dogs, right? Popular bikes, these middleweight adventure bikes. But every bike tells you a little bit of what you should do with it, and it's been fun for me just pushing outside of my comfort zone, trying stuff that I definitely would not be interested in. The Janus presented itself at a very interesting time because there was a bit of a zeitgeist happening online, and I said, oh man, this is a perfect time to get this bike, to test it. You know, there was the whole thing about it wobbling and all that stuff. Like, it fit the moment so perfectly and allowed me to try something new, learn something new. That's something different that I've been doing too the past 2 to 3 years. We don't do as many giveaway bikes anymore. We kind of stay focused on one at a time. We used to do like 4 different bikes at a time, and they were like, we'd cross compare them, and we'd like, you know, take one and take the other and do reviews independently. Like, it was just really messy. And I realized that I wasn't giving myself the opportunity to learn anything. I wasn't giving myself the chance to dive deep and really learn. And so now we do one bike at a time so that I can stay focused. And I think to myself, okay, like, let me learn everything about this machine. And then the content is better too, which is really cool. I was super proud of the Yamaha R9 review that we did. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make the best possible review of the bike that I could. I wanted to leave no stone unturned. I wanted to make the best video possible. And I was so happy to see people say exactly what I wanted the video to be. They said, this is the best review of the R9 on the internet. This is the most comprehensive. You really, you know, were as thorough as possible. Thank you for this. And, you know, I am rewarded. I got 150,000 views or whatever. And I think it is the best R9 review on the internet. And that's what I've been trying to do going forward is I've been starting these reviews on these bikes weeks in advance. Every bike that I'm reviewing now, I learned something new. With the Janus, I definitely learned some stuff. I can't tell you specifically what I learned. Let me think. What did I learn specifically with the Janus? I learned a bit about the Chinese engine, the 229cc clone motor that's in there. I did a deep dive on that and wrote a bunch of notes. Some of that didn't make it to the video, but I learned a bit about it and how prolific that engine is and all the architecture of it. You know, that definitely came through quite a bit in the video. But I don't know, I have so much fun doing what I'm doing, and I personally think, and you may disagree with me, but I think our content's the best it's ever been. My reviews, the stuff we're thinking about and putting out about motorcycles, I'm actively trying to make the best stuff I can possibly make. And it's just been really great to have the opportunity to do that and to stay focused. And just coming back to that principle, man. All bikes are good. Every bike is good. And you just have to find what it is about that bike that makes it tick. What about it makes it special? What about it makes it unique or compelling? And look, some motorcycles you can ride and you'd say, there really isn't a lot here to chew on, right? If you were to jump on. This is just an example. I know people get up in arms. A Versys 650. You can say, okay, the most compelling thing about this motorcycle is that it functions largely as a utilitarian tool, the Toyota Corolla of motorcycles. You come up with a through line about the bike, and then you present that information to the audience. And on the topic of bias, you know, everything is biased. Everything is going to have bias. You cannot approach something from a completely neutral perspective because, first of all, it'd be boring as hell, right? Like if you were just, go and read a Wikipedia article if you want completely unbiased factual information about something. I have to believe that's not why you're clicking on a YouTube video. You're clicking on a YouTube video because you want editorialized, interesting, compelling video content about the thing you're interested in. If I just sat there and read the Wikipedia page about something, it wouldn't really be all that interesting, would it? So on the topic of bias, I just think it's, you know, kind of like, oh, he's biased against that. He can't possibly make a review on it. I'm like, of course you can, you know? There's a difference between being unfair and having bad faith and being biased, and there's another difference between being fair, thorough, and know what? You're always going to have bias with it. And it is what it is, you know? So that's been my secret. That's been my defining principle the last like 2 years that I've been kind of changing how I'm doing videos and changing how I think about them. I'm focusing more on quality, thinking more about how every bike is good, how I just have to be the vessel with which it uncovers what is interesting or cool about the motorcycle and then present it to you. I am merely the motorcycle's thane, right? I am just the conduit with which it communicates its message. And it's just, that's my job, and that's what I love about it. So that's my guiding principle on motorcycles lately, boys. That's the one thing I've been thinking about. So drop me a comment down below if you agree with my assessment. If you think that I'm full of crap, leave me a comment down below too. I'm never afraid to read some dissenting opinions. It really doesn't bother me at all. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. I appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.